Kick her butt then! Kick her butt then! Kick her butt then!
Knock for while you can, monkey boy! Listen!
Put him back on formaldehyde fake.
Welcome to Radical Chill Pill. My name is Scott and I'm here to talk about everything movies. Today's movie is 1990's Men at Work, starring Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, Keith David, and directed by Emilio, the mighty Duckman himself. I'm going to be honest, this might be the only movie I really know deals mainly with garbage men. Charlie Sheen and his real-life brother Emilio Estevez playing slacker garbage men are pretty much terrible at their job. They drink, they surf, get multiple complaints. They somehow get involved in a murder mystery with hitmen, rival garbage men, bicycle cops, pizza men. It just goes on. A lot of fun. This is one of those movies you're either going to love or you're going to hate. You remember it fondly or you absolutely hate it. Obviously, I'm doing a review, so I really liked it. Councilman Berger, he's involved with a shady business and businessman. They are dumping toxic chemicals into the water. He decides he no longer wants to be part of this, and as that happens, the businessman wants to tie up some loose ends, so he sends some hitmen to go kill him. As you would. Now, Councilman Berger's no dummy, so he records his conversations on a cassette, which gets mixed up with his campaign manager. Just so happens, his campaign manager lives in the apartment complex or townhouse complex, condo, whatever you want to call it, across from Charlie and Emilio. And Charlie has been, no way to put it, he's been stalking her, kind of peeping Toming on her for a while. So he knows all about her. Congressman Berger goes to her place to get the right tape. He gets upset. Charlie Sheen sees this, decides he's going to take matters in his own hands and shoots him in the butt with a BB gun. Now, that would be all fine, except when no one's looking, the hitmen come and kill him and then throw him in a garbage barrel. Of course, the next day, Emilio and Charlie, I'm not going to use their character names, we're just going to call them Emilio and Charlie. They find this guy, and now Emilio feels like Charlie killed him. They have also been put on probation because of all the violations and complaints they've received, so they have an observer, who is Lewis. Now, I'm not even going to get into Lewis right now because he's that amazing. He is my favorite, by far my favorite part of this whole movie. And I am actually going to dedicate an entire section to Lewis because he's that good. Now, Lewis hates Emilio, and I'm going to call him Lewis, and I'm going to call him Emilio, and you're going, well, why? One's the character and one's the actor, because Lewis is amazing as a character. I mean, he's just an amazing character. And they actually find the body, these bike cops show up, and they kind of bond a little bit because they do the old Weekend at Bernie's move, where they pretend like the dead guy is actually drunk and are walking around with them. Classic 1990s comedy. You don't really see it these days, the whole, hey, this person's dead and decomposing, but let's pretend like they're still alive move. I think it's kind of run its course, but we might see it come back. They decide that Charlie should probably go across the street to find out what happened because that was the last time anyone saw him, when he shot him in the butt. So he decides to go over to the campaign manager's place, and of course somehow they end up on a date. So he pretends he's a cranium doctor and he's feeling her head. Hitmen are staking this out. They're staking out Lewis and Emilio are staking out Charlie Sheen. The pizza man comes and of course he gets kidnapped, and that and for those who didn't know, that is Chainsaw from Summer School. And another one of these scenes that is just, I remember watching it, my friends and I would quote it. Their date goes well, they're being followed by hitmen, who are then also be followed by cops, rival garbage men who are pranking each other. It gets crazy, it gets wild. Again, you either love it or you hate it. You know, it's completely ridiculous, but I enjoyed it. In the end, everyone almost dies. cops get naked, rent-a-cops get busted, toxic waste gets almost dumped, bad guys get their comeuppance, and everything turns out fine. Time for some random knowledge. Emilio Estevez actually came up with the idea for this movie when he was filming St. Elmo's Fire. And then later on, when he was actually filming Young Guns 2, he would film during the day, and he was actually editing this movie by night. This is his second film that he's directed, the first one being Wisdom. It is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. This movie is not going to win any Academy Awards, but it has... The Emilio Estevez duo is great. Then you add Lewis to make that a super team. The rival Garbage Men are great. The Hitmen duo is great. The Bike Cops are great. So it's really, and then you throw the Pizza Man into the team. So it's really, the good would be teams. You have a lot of good teams interacting in this movie. The bad, there's no way around it. The whole Peeping Tom stalking her, looking at her with binoculars in the middle of the night while she's eating, you know, in her night clothes, I'll say. Not a good look. Yeah, it was funny in 1990s, but I don't think it would fly too much today. Now, I will say that when he finally admits that he's been watching her, she punches him a couple times, so he kind of gets a little bit of justice, but not a good look for our man Charlie. And now it's time for the ugly. And there's really only one big ugly, and that's Charlie Sheen's career and life. This movie reminds you of how fun he was, and I looked it up. In a 5-year period, I have this written down, he was in Platoon, Wall Street, 8 Men Out, The Wraith, Young Guns, Major League, Men at Work, Navy SEALs, and Hot Shots. I mean, those are some quality movies, some fun movies, some just funny movies, and I cannot tell you, I mean, we all know that his life is a train wreck with the tiger blood and everything else, but I mean, I can't even tell you the last movie I saw that had him in it. And then there's come some accusations from like the Lucas set back in the day when he was young, so it's really a shame because some of these movies are just a lot of fun, and you kind of have one of those what could have been if he, you know, would have straightened his life out. Now, the special section, I promise, is going to be the Lewis section. This guy is one of the all-time, he's up there with like Wally Sobchak from The Big Lebowski, is like just a great character. And basically, I decided, he's a veteran. He probably has some PTSD. He is anger issues. He has social issues. He hates cops. He hates rent-a-cops. He hates pizza men. He hates garbage men. He draws pictures of helicopters shooting missiles into tourists on the boardwalk. This guy's a good, and he gives you life lessons about French fries. So I decided to just kind of put a little reel together of his greatest hits.
Who was it?
Pedro's Pizza and Pancakes.
You've seen too much.
You're a madman!
He was provoking me. Well, you little... Come here. Come here. I'm gonna show you how to talk to like that. Hey, goddamn. There are several sacred things in this world that you don't ever mess with. One of them happens to be another man's fries. Back in Fubai, you would have been killed the second he knocked on that door. I would have snapped his neck like a twig. You see, I thrive on misery. In the jungle, misery's all you got. But things are different back here in the world, or so they seem. Nobody wants to talk about pain and suffering. I want Mr. Sneaky Man to come around and join his partner, Mr. Bonehead. The commie bastard gets no food.
Well, thanks for watching. That was Men at Work in a nutshell. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned to Radical Chill Pill for upcoming films and everything else. Appreciate it. Have a good one.